Alright ladies, this is Alex from My For Attraction 2.0 and this is the last video of the day. Let's go before it gets dark, because you know what happens when you're in the dark and you're light and you're dark skin. Cameras don't work too well when you're in the dark. So in today's video we're going to talk about how to mess with a guy's mind and how to literally play with him like a fiddle. I'm sure you got some ways, some practical surface level tactics that you guys can use to mess with a guy's mind if you guys want to be that psychotic and crazy, right? Or if you guys want revenge. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do it, and this is more about how to amp up the attraction and make them chase you. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing you gotta do is uninhibit yourself. You don't want any hesitation, and the best way is to experience with full consciousness your inhibition and stay present when it occurs. Usually when you become inhibited, you usually go into your head and you try not to feel your inhibition through trying to find ways to make the situation better, or trying to find ways to come across more cooler so that the awkwardness that you created or the awkwardness that you feel dissipates. For example, it's kind of like when you are talking to a guy, right, and you want to express yourself, when you feel that hesitation, that sudden freeze up, right? Rather than trying to feel better to looking away or trying to not make eye contact, you know what I'm talking about? The desire to not feel that hesitation, which in some cases you experience it when you're seeing somebody, right? And you're talking to someone, you feel awkward, you don't want to make eye contact. The inhibition will cause you to look away. So what I want you to do is to fully feel whatever you feel with full consciousness. So when you feel the need to look away, which is an example of people's inhibition, rather than looking away, which is fulfilling what you want to observe the tension and what would happen if you stay having eye contact in awkward silence. Just stay there and observe the emotion. Again, like I always say, it's just like a drug. You're gonna build tolerance, and so what's gonna happen is that as soon as you feel tolerance, after a while, what's gonna happen is that you're not gonna feel the inhibition no more. You're just gonna feel that looseness, and so whatever arises from that place of non-inhibition is gonna come out very right. For example, it's kind of like when a guy's talking to a girl, and he's like, "Hey, can I ask your number?" Right? Can I ask your number? There's no hesitation. Rather than when a guy is scared and he's inhibited, he'll be like, "Hey, can I get your number?" You see what I'm saying? Can I get your number? And then there's, "Hey, can I get your number?" Like, "Hey, what's your number?" There's less inhibition. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I want you to do. I want you to do everything with that hump. All right? And that comes through uninhibiting yourself, which will only come through Lord in heaven. She's beautiful. Anyways, yeah, it will only come through experiencing the inhibition. All right, so the first thing is tease him on his mannerism. That's one way for you to do it. Teasing him on his mannerism, like saying, you know when you laugh, your eyebrows go up. It's kind of cute and adorable. He's like, "What do you mean by that?" It's seriously, like when you actually. Another one would be when you get angry, your eyebrows go up. I'm like, "What do you mean by that?" He said, "You're doing it again." What would you talk about? I said, "You're doing it again." And that'll get him to react. You know what I'm saying? That's a way to get him to react. And what happens is that when you get a person to react and you get them emotional, what tends to happen is that they'll try to bridge the gap that they lost of awkwardness. They'll try to bridge the gap that they lost from you through trying to seek validation. See what I'm saying? For example, it's kind of like when you get embarrassed in front of someone. Let's say you're embarrassed, right? Let's say you're in an interview, right? And you come late to the interview. What do most people do? They knew they fucked up. So what happens? I'm so sorry. Like blah blah blah, right? They're supplicating. So in dating, you see a very equivalent to when you create that awkwardness by saying they have a mannerism that's awkward, make them feel awkward. What's gonna happen is that they're gonna try and fill in that gap through looking for your validation. And again, this is not the best tactic, but it's little things that you could do that make subtle differences, but is effective to get them to chase you. The second thing will be cold reads. Rather than asking questions, "So where you from?" you make a cold read by saying, "So you're from California, aren't you?" Like cold read. You see, rather than saying, "So what do you do for a living?" you say, "Let me guess, computer science." You look like someone who does computer science. Like you just make a cold read and you let the guy elaborate. "Let me guess, computer science." Shut up. And you let the person go. And if he says you're wrong, say why you thought computer science. "No, because of this, because of that, because of that." You see what I'm saying? And what happens is that when you give them a code read, like say, "Nah, I just thought you were computer science because of the way you communicated. You seem like you're very analytical." Boom. And what's going to happen is that the guy then is going to elaborate and say, "Nah, actually, I am more of this." You see, that's actually nice. That's actually not a way to fuck with him. Another one will be using silence. I love silence. For example, it's kind of like saying, if a guy says, "Oh, where are you from?" Where are you from? "California." Like you're just doing it to fuck with him. You just fucking with him, right? Or for example, like during the beginning of the date, right? You guys would sit down. Hey, how are you? You guys sit down on the date and you don't say nothing. So how's your day been? Like and you have a face of like I'm trying to hold my smile away, right? So that he knows you're fucking with him, right? Another one would be if he asks you a question that's obvious. For example, like saying, "So are you from New York City?" Like, come on, you should know, right? And I'll get him in his head. That gets in his head when you do that, right? And you can play around with silence. I love using silence. Another one would be, number 4 would be calling him a good friend. Especially when you're on a date with a guy, like saying, "Oh my God, you'd be the perfect friend. Oh my God, you'd be the perfect buddy. Oh my God, you'd be the perfect shopping buddy." Calling a guy a perfect shopping buddy or perfect friend, I'm telling you from experience, guys fucking hate that because they think they're in a friend zone. Say that shit, and I promise you, you're gonna see a difference in their behavior. But as soon as you say that, make sure that you communicate you actually like them that further than just friends. You know what I'm saying? But momentarily, that's the way to get to his head. Call him a friend. Okay, this is the last time I do videos here because it's just too much beauty walking around. My goodness in heaven, Jesus Christ. Number 5 will be disqualifying the possible relationship. Like saying, yeah, we shouldn't get. Yeah, me and you will never get along, or saying me and you are too different. Me and you are too different. We will never get along. Or saying, I don't know. Me and you will never get along. We just have different energies, and you just let them convince you why you're wrong. You know, like saying me and you will never get along. We're just too different. Oh, me and you will never get along. We're just too similar, and let him convince you why he's wrong, why you're wrong. That's the way to get him to qualify yourself to him. When I say disqualifying the relationship, it's kind of like saying from the looks of it, this is why this may not work out, and then letting him be the one letting him be the advocate as to why it will work out. And when you let him be the advocate and let him invest to tell you why it's gonna work out, it makes him invest more in the conversation and increases attraction. All right. Number 6, ask questions almost like you want him to get it wrong so that you don't like him. Like for example, like saying, "Do you cook?" Or like saying, "Are you one of those guys who does this?" You know, are you one of those guys who get angry for no reason? Like you just ask him. It's kind of like asking him a question, expecting a certain answer. For example, it's kind of like, let's say you like guys who read, right? Let's say you love guys who read. You ask them, "Yes, do you read?" You know, kind of like saying like, you better get this answer right. Like, let me ask you this: do you go to the bookstore often? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like saying, "You know, I've seen you somewhere." Kind of like with that vibe, like, "I've seen you somewhere. You know what? You know what? Do you do this? Do you know? Let me ask you this: do you play basketball?" And if he says no, "Oh, okay." Anyways, and change the topic. The "oh, okay." Anyways, like the "oh" is kind of like expresses disappointment. You see, and it makes him like, "What the fuck you mean, right?" Another one would be overreaction. For example, if he says, you know, people say like, "I hate anchovies" or "I hate pizza," right? You'd be like, "Man, I hate pizza." Whoa, relax, big boy. Shit, don't get so angry. Like you're just kidding around, right? You're like, "Oh, I'm just kidding." I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, you don't need to work so hard." And we're like, "Oh, what the fuck? I'm just playing around. Like it's kind of like overreacting. It's kind of like a way to get him out of his head. If he says, "Man, I can't, like, I hate my job, man. It sucks so much." Whoa, Jesus Christ, relax, buddy. My goodness. Like, it shows you have a playful side to you, all right? Another one, number 8, is making sure you're asking yourself the right questions. You see, rather than asking yourself, "How can I get him to like me?" You see, rather ask yourself, "How can I have fun?" Why? Because there's two different behaviors that arises from those two questions. You know, usually when you're talking to a guy, the question you ask yourself is, "How can I get him to like me? How can I get him to do this? How can I get him to go out with me?" You know what I'm saying? Like, you ask yourself that. So what tends to happen is that the expression, what usually arises from that, doesn't really come from a place of yourself. You see, because who you are is the passion that's inside of you, the positive emotions. So when you ask yourself, "How can I have fun?" the questions, the answers that usually arise from that question comes from your own accord, comes from your unconditioned self. So ask yourself, what can I say right now to have fun? What can I say right now to fuck with home? Usually the behavior that arises from that is usually fun. All right, that's much better than just ask yourself, what can I say right now to make him like me? Number 9, feel as though you're talking to your pet or your family or a funny animal. It relaxes your mind. Usually when you're talking to a guy, you usually have him on a pedestal, especially the guys you like. And so when you see him in your mind, you usually see this grandiose image of this super attractive guy. So what I want you to do is just literally make the conscious effort of seeing, of making believe as though you're talking to a pet of yours, or talking to or your little brother, or talking to your little niece, or talking to a funny animal. You're gonna notice how your perception of them changes, and you're able to be more playful, more yourself. I'm telling you, that's what usually happens. Number 10, disqualify yourself as being bad and corruptive. Usually when you're talking to a guy, you usually say, I am the perfect girlfriend, or I am the perfect this, or I love to cook because I am the perfect girl. Do the opposite. Say to yourself, you know what, I'm not your type. I don't know why, but I may corrupt you. Or say, you know what, you know what, you may hate me because I am this, or you know what, you may hate me because I am that, or you know what, I'm a little bit too boring for you, or you know what, I'm a little too wild for you. Like, I'm a little bit too much for you. I don't think you can handle me. What's going to happen is that you say that, and it makes him qualify himself to you. And so what's happening is that he doesn't even know it, but he's convincing himself he likes you. It's kind of crazy, right? The last one, number 11. If you're walking, use your physical distance to reward him or punish him, as teasing and creating space. For example, you know when you're walking next to a guy, right? How do you use that distance to tease him? So when he says something, let's say you're walking with him, right? I want you to, when he says something that's good, walk close to him, right? Walk close to him, right? To create that, to make him feel comfortable with your distance, to make him feel comfortable with your presence, right? And if you want to fuck with him, if he says, by the way, man, I play basketball, right? No, by saying, like, if he says, like, I don't play any sports, I don't play basketball, be like, oh, you don't play any sports? Then you move like a few distance away from him. You see what I'm saying? Like, you just move a few distance away. If he says, why are you moving away? Oh, you don't play sports. I love guys who play sports. Oh, no, serious, but you know, I go work out sometimes. Oh, for real? And you move close to him. Oh, I'm just kidding around. All right, come on. You know, and then you're walking, right? And he says, like, I hate books. Oh, you just move away, move further from him. He's like, what happened? I don't know, man. I like guys who read books. You know, but, you know, I listen to audiobooks. You move closer. Okay, well, let's do that. You see, you use the distance as a hot and cold, as a way to tease them. You see what I'm saying? And that's how you do it. Anyways, it's Alex from mindforattraction.org. I hope you guys understood this. This is one of those videos that this is not life changing, but this is something that you can use. It's more outer game, what I call it, outer game, like things that it doesn't make them love you, right? But it does have an effect on the guy's psyche. All right. Anyways, keep the expectations realistic. All right, that's what I like to do. I like to keep them realistic and not exaggerate. Tell you guys that this is gonna make him love you, even though it's gonna say that in the title. All right. Anyways, have a good day. And if anyone needs one-on-one coaching, go to mindforattraction.org/coaching in the pocket. I got something in my eye. And have a good day. And bye bye.